Let me tell you something very honestly. When I was young, nobody believed in me. I failed exams, I couldn't get a decent job, I even applied to KFC and they said no. I could have sat there and cried, told myself the world was unfair, complained that successful people had advantages I didn't have. Many people do that. They look at life and say, why me? But I learned very early, the moment you start feeling sorry for yourself, you stop moving. And when you stop moving, life stops giving you chances. I do not say this to make myself look strong. I say it because I know what it feels like to be weak. I remember sitting on the floor of my small apartment, feeling like the whole world was against me, wondering why nothing ever worked. It's easy to think the universe is targeting you, but life does not owe you comfort, and life does not feel guilty when you suffer. The world is not your parent. The world is not responsible for your happiness. When you feel sorry for yourself, you hand your power away because you are saying, I cannot rise unless someone lifts me. People think self-pity is innocent. They think when they say, poor me, they are protecting themselves emotionally. But self-pity is poison disguised as comfort. It keeps you soft, it keeps you weak, it keeps you dreaming instead of doing. I have seen many talented young people who could change their life, but they sit and complain instead. They tell me, Jack, I work hard, but life is unfair. I tell them life is unfair to everyone. Winners just refuse to cry about it. Success is not about feeling good. It is about doing what is necessary. When I started Alibaba, nobody gave me a medal for trying. Nobody came and said, Jack, you suffered a lot, let me make it easier. No, life said, if you want it, fight for it. Winners feel pain and move forward. Losers feel pain and build stories around it. Yes, it hurts when you fail. Yes, it hurts when people laugh at you. But pain is information. It reminds you to get better, not to hide. Self-pity is like sitting in a dark room, hoping the world will come rescue you. The door is open, but you refuse to walk out. The truth is simple. The world respects strength, not excuses. When you choose pity, you choose to stay exactly where you are. But when you choose responsibility, even when you are scared, even when you are tired, life starts opening doors for you. Remember this. Every time you say, I cannot, you are building walls around your own life. And every time you say, I will try again, you are breaking those walls. You cannot escape a prison if you don't admit you are inside one. And self-pity is the most comfortable prison in the world. Stop feeling sorry for yourself. Stand up while it still hurts. Success loves people who move, not people who wait to be rescued. The world owes you nothing, but your future owes you everything. People like to imagine success as a comfortable journey. They see the results, the headlines, the victories, but not the bruises, not the long nights, not the moments when quitting feels easier than breathing. When I was building Alibaba, there were days when I woke up and wondered if I had made the biggest mistake of my life. Investors rejected us again and again. My friends asked whether I had lost my mind. My own family quietly worried. There were nights I went home and sat in silence because disappointment felt like a weight on my chest. But I learned something important. Success does not respond to tears. It responds to persistence. In life, pain is not punishment. Pain is the entrance fee you pay for greatness. People run from discomfort, but discomfort is where growth lives. When you go to the gym, your muscles tear before they grow. When you learn a skill, confusion comes before mastery. When you start a business, chaos comes before clarity. This is universal. Not just for me, not just for billionaires, but for anyone who wants to rise. Pain is not a sign you are doing something wrong. It is a sign you are doing something worth doing. The problem is not pain. The problem is that most people expect progress to feel pleasant, and when it doesn't, they stop. I remember meeting investors who looked at me like I was foolish. They laughed at the idea of the internet in China. They rejected us outright. Some did not even let me finish speaking. Do you think I enjoyed that? No. But I did not collapse. I did not say, why me? Instead, I used those rejections to sharpen my vision. Every no forced me to ask better questions, build better plans, and think more deeply. Pain became my teacher, not my enemy. People forget this cliche, but it is true. Every setback is a setup for a comeback if you keep walking. You see, complaining is emotional debt. You make yourself feel worse without gaining anything back. You spend energy but receive no growth. Complaining gives you temporary comfort, but takes away permanent strength. Winners do not say, I am broken. Life is hard. They say, this hurts, but I am becoming stronger. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. You cannot pray for success and run from the road that leads to it. Pain is the toll gate. You pay it or you don't pass. When people tell me they want success without struggle, I smile politely because they are still dreaming. The world does not reward the soft mindset. You want something big? Then understand one truth. Success demands endurance. It demands grit. It demands the courage to keep moving when your legs shake, to stay focused when fear screams, to believe when evidence is missing. The journey will test you. That is its purpose. If success was easy, everybody would have it. But success only chooses those who are strong enough to suffer before they shine. Stop avoiding pain. Use it. Let it build you. You earn your future by walking through discomfort. Every time life knocks you down, stand up again. That is how champions are made. When life becomes difficult, the most dangerous thought is not I will fail. It is I deserve to pause because life is unfair to me. Self-sympathy feels gentle. It feels like you are protecting yourself. But it is a silent killer of dreams. I have met many brilliant people who never achieved anything simply because they kept comforting themselves instead of moving. You say, why me? And life answers, why not? The moment you start believing your struggles are special, you stop growing. The world does not pause to give you time to heal. Opportunities keep moving, and if you stop, they leave without you. When I failed my college entrance exams twice, I was embarrassed. My friends passed. They celebrated, and I did not. I could have spent months sitting in my room saying life treated me unfairly. I could have hidden behind excuses, telling myself that other people had better backgrounds, more intelligence, more opportunities. But I decided something important. Feeling sorry for myself would not change my results. You see, momentum is life's most precious currency. Once you stop, restarting is 10 times harder. The world respects action. You don't need perfect confidence. You need movement. People tell me, Jack, I need time to recover emotionally. I understand that feeling. Pain is real. Disappointment is real. But let me tell you the truth. Sitting still makes pain heavier. When you move, even slowly, your confidence begins to return. Momentum builds identity. The more you move, the more you believe in yourself. The more you sit, the more doubt grows like weeds in your heart. There is a common saying, objects in motion stay in motion. This is not just physics, this is life. Successful people do not stop to feel sorry for themselves. They feel pain, they wipe their tears, and they keep going. It is not strength that makes them move. Movement creates their strength. At Alibaba, there were moments when everything looked impossible. We had no money, no support, no clear path. Some team members cried, and that's okay. But after crying, we worked. If we had paused to recover emotionally every time we hit a wall, we would still be sitting in that small apartment dreaming instead of building. Why me is the language of victims. Try again is the language of builders. The world only remembers doers, not talkers. You must decide which one you want to be. Self-sympathy makes comfort look noble. It whispers, rest, recover. The world owes you patience. But in truth, the world owes you nothing. Your progress owes you everything. Every minute you spend feeling sorry for yourself is a minute someone else spends building the life you want. Momentum begins the moment pity ends. If you can learn to move while hurting, you are unstoppable. Do not allow emotion to become your excuse. Allow it to become your fuel. You do not need perfect conditions to rise. You need to refuse to stay down. Stand up. Move forward, even if it's small steps. Your future self will thank you for not surrendering to sympathy today. When I was young, I thought someone would come help me. I believed that if I worked hard enough, eventually the right person, the right company, the right government program would see my struggle and lift me up. But I quickly learned something very uncomfortable. Nobody is coming to rescue you. Not your friends, not your family, not your government, not fate. The world does not reward suffering, it rewards solutions. And the longer you wait for someone to notice your pain and save you, the deeper you sink. Winners do not wait to be chosen, they choose themselves. I faced rejection again and again. Not by strangers, by people I admired. I applied to so many jobs and nobody wanted me. I did not get into good universities. I did not have money. I did not have connections. It would have been very easy for me to say, someone should help me. But life is not a charity. I realized something. Expecting rescue is another form of self-pity. It is saying, I am powerless unless others give me power. That mindset kills dreams before they breathe. A leader's job is to climb, not cry. Many people now tell me, Jack, if only someone believed in me the way someone believed in you. And I smile, because in the beginning no one believed in me, not even my teachers, not even my peers. Belief did not come first. Results came first. People believe in you after you move, after you prove, not before. Waiting for approval is like waiting for a train at an abandoned station. Nothing is coming. I had to learn to push the first rock up the hill alone. Only when it started rolling did others join. And this is true everywhere. Nobody joins your struggle. People join your momentum. Victims say, when someone helps me, I will rise. Winners say, I will rise first, then support will follow. Do not confuse sympathy with support. When people say, I feel bad for you, it changes nothing. But when you take action, people suddenly say, how can I be part of this? The world is not moved by tears, it is moved by direction. Discipline builds doors. Motion attracts help. Courage invites opportunity. Success is not about being lucky. Success is about refusing to wait while others hesitate. One of the biggest lies people believe is that they need the perfect mentor, the perfect investor, the perfect partner before starting. But mentors appear when you start creating value. Investors appear when you start showing results. Partners appear when you prove vision with action. Everything you want comes after you begin, not before. There is a saying, God helps those who help themselves. Whether you believe in God, luck, or destiny, the principle is the same. Action invites assistance. Helplessness attracts abandonment. So stop waiting, stop begging, stop hoping someone sees your struggle and decides you deserve success. The world rewards those who move, not those who wait to be carried. Build your strength before support arrives. Become your own. Rescue team. Climb first. Others will notice once you reach higher ground. That is how winners are made, not in comfort, but in self-rescue. When I talk about rejection, people think it is just a story I tell to sound humble. But rejection was not a chapter in my journey. It was the foundation. I was rejected from universities, rejected from companies, rejected from investors, rejected from opportunities that I prayed for. Even KFC hired 23 people and said no to only one, me. In the beginning, it hurt. I felt small, embarrassed, invisible. But one day, I realized something powerful. Rejection was training me. It was building a skin so thick that no failure, no criticism, no doubt could break me. Many people collapse when they hear no. I learned to rise. Rejection is the universe asking you, do you mean it? Everyone loves the dream. Everyone wants success, applause, comfort, admiration. But when the door is slammed in their face, they begin to doubt themselves, doubt the dream, doubt life. They say, maybe this isn't for me. But winners hear no and translate it as not yet. Keep building. Every rejection you receive is a reminder that you are trying something big enough to challenge reality. If everyone said yes immediately, your dream would be too small. I watched many people quit not because they couldn't succeed, but because rejection bruised their ego. Ego is fragile. Hunger is unstoppable. When Alibaba kept getting turned down, I didn't spend time crying or blaming. I spent time improving. I asked, why did they say no? How can we become better? How can we make them regret rejecting us? Rejection was my fuel. It sharpened me. It forced innovation when comfort would have kept me average. Remember this cliché, because it's true. Every time you get knocked down, you can rise stronger. But you must choose strength over self-pity. Too many people treat rejection like a verdict on their worth. It is not a verdict, it is feedback. It is the world saying, show me more. When you take rejection personally, you stop evolving. When you take rejection strategically, you start transforming. You must be hungry enough to keep moving when praise is absent. Praise is easy to digest. Rejection strengthens your bones. Failure is a stepping stone, not a grave. Those who stop at the first no never discover how far they could have gone. Let me tell you something important. Pity wastes rejection. When you feel sorry for yourself after being rejected, you throw away the lesson inside the no. You bury the opportunity instead of planting it. But hunger converts rejection into skill, resilience, clarity, and strategy. It forces you to look at life differently. Instead of asking, why did they reject me? Ask, how can I make myself undeniable? The world eventually bows to those who refuse to bend under rejection. Rejection made me fearless. It trained me for competition because nothing anyone said could break me anymore. The world respects those who turn no into momentum. So do not run from rejection, chase it. Each rejection is a sign that you are in the arena, while others are still hiding in comfort and excuses. Let rejection make you sharper, louder, stronger. When you stop fearing no, doors begin to open, not by chance, but because you became a person who earned them. When I was building Alibaba, I quickly realized that not everyone around me wanted me to succeed. Some people smiled and said, I understand, life is unfair. But they weren't comforting me. They were inviting me to join them in weakness. They wanted to keep me small so they could feel bigger themselves. At first, I didn't see it. I thought everyone's advice was valuable. But slowly, I noticed a pattern. Those who constantly reminded me of obstacles never took action themselves. Their words were soft, their intentions were hard, they were emotional parasites feeding off my fear and hesitation. You have to understand this. Pity is contagious. 1 minute of complaining around the wrong people, and suddenly your drive feels smaller. Their weakness becomes your doubt. I remember talking to friends who said, Jack, maybe you should slow down. Maybe this is too risky. I listened at first, and I wasted months trapped in hesitation. Then I realized winners don't take advice from people who don't have what they want. Winners create their own path, and often that means leaving people behind. If your circle nurtures excuses instead of action, you are not being supported, you are being drained. I made a choice. I started to surround myself with people who challenged me, who said, stand up, we're not done, keep going. They didn't make life easy. They made it honest. They forced me to confront my weaknesses and push through them. When rejection came, when money was tight, when doors closed, these were the people who reminded me that growth was inside the struggle, not outside it. They didn't give me comfort, they gave me courage. And courage is far more valuable than comfort. Most people underestimate how much the environment shapes success. You can have talent, vision, and discipline. But if the people around you are small-minded or jealous, your progress will slow. They are the people who ask, why try? While secretly hoping you fail so they feel better. That is not loyalty, that is toxicity. Cutting off these emotional parasites is not cruel. It is survival. The world is full of people waiting to slow you down, and it will not wait for you to realize it. You either protect your energy or surrender your potential. The lesson is simple. Be mindful of who you let influence your heart and mind. Learn to detect the ones who feed on excuses, fear, or self-pity, and quietly distance yourself. Protect your focus. Protect your hunger. Every moment spent in their orbit is a moment stolen from your growth. And once you remove them, you will notice a strange thing. Your ideas grow bigger. Your confidence grows stronger. Your drive becomes relentless. The energy of winners is uncomfortable, but it is contagious too, in the right way. It elevates you. It doesn't drag you down. Remember, success is not just what you do. It is who you allow around you while doing it. Self-pity spreads like fire. Surrounding yourself with the wrong people fans the flames. But the right company turns that fire into power, into momentum, into unstoppable movement. Protect your energy like it's gold, because in the journey toward success, it is. When people talk about Thomas Edison, they always mention the 1,000 failed attempts before the light bulb worked. Everyone loves that story. It's comforting. It makes failure feel noble. But they never talk about what Edison really did during those failures. He didn't sit there saying, "Why me? Why is life cruel?" He didn't cry about the world or complain that the universe was against him. No, he tested, he experimented, he improved. He treated rejection and failure as data, as feedback, as stepping stones. And that, my friends, is the lesson. Almost nobody mentions it is not failure that stops people. It is the emotional weakness that comes after failure. Feeling sorry for yourself is the silent killer, the reason most people never become unforgettable. I think about this all the time, because in my life, I faced countless failures that could have crushed me. Investors laughed at Alibaba. My team sometimes questioned if we could survive. Many times I returned home after a day of rejection, sat quietly, wondering if I had made a mistake. I could have fallen into self-pity. I could have let the world's no define me. But then I remembered Edison. Every rejection is a signal, not a verdict. Every failure is a teacher, not a sentence. Winners listen, losers moan. That is the difference. Self-pity stops you. Persistence propels you. Edison is famous for his light bulb, but his secret wasn't talent or luck. It was relentless. Emotional discipline. He didn't indulge in sympathy. He didn't wait for someone to tell him he was brilliant. He treated each setback as an opportunity to learn. The world rewards people who move, not people who sit waiting for comfort. Most people never learn this. They fail once, feel sorry for themselves, and fold. But if you endure, if you use your pain, if you treat emotional weakness as the enemy, you become unstoppable. Every no and every failure becomes a tool, a lever, a stepping stone towards something bigger than anyone can take from you. Let me be honest, there were moments I envied people who could feel sorry for themselves. It seems easier to sit in comfort, to blame circumstances, to wait for life to turn friendly. But comfort doesn't build empires. Emotional toughness does. Resilience does. Persistence does. Edison succeeded not because he was lucky, not because people believed in him, but because he refused to let failure shrink his spirit. And that is exactly what I tell people. Stop feeling sorry for yourself. Stop giving your power to circumstances. Use failure. Convert rejection. Stand taller with every no you hear. That is how extraordinary people are made. Here is the hidden truth everyone forgets. If Edison had allowed a single moment of self-pity to distract him, we would still be in the dark. If you allow your pity to dominate your mind, you will never see your light. Stop indulging in excuses. Stop wrapping yourself in comfort. Stand up, learn, adapt, persist. Every failure, every rejection, every pain is a step forward. If you refuse to sit down, that is the secret the world hides. Resilience is far more powerful than talent, and action far more important than sympathy. I want to be very honest with you. Feeling hurt, feeling disappointed, feeling angry, these emotions are real and they are valid. I have felt them many times. When I was rejected by investors, laughed at by peers, or told my ideas were impossible, I sat quietly in. Small apartment and cried. I let myself feel the frustration, the fear, the doubt. But then I made a choice. I would not stay there. I realized tears are only dangerous if they drain you. If you turn them into direction, if you turn them into targets, they become fuel instead of chains. Most people make a fatal mistake. They let emotion leak away. They cry, they complain, they feel sorry for themselves, and the world moves on without them. But the strong, the persistent, the people who build empires, they do not waste tears. They take that raw energy and convert it into action. I remember nights at Alibaba when everything seemed impossible. Money was tight. Investors had walked away. My team was exhausted. And yet in those moments, I took the anger and disappointment and focused it. I set clear goals, made new strategies, and pushed harder. Emotion became momentum. Pain became a plan. Tears became targets. Anger can be a weapon. Disappointment a map. insecurity a fuel tank for hunger. Most people are afraid of their own emotion, but the truth is, your emotional energy is one of the most powerful tools you have, if you learn to control it. I have seen people collapse under heartbreak, under rejection, under failure, and I have seen others in the same situations turn those feelings into their next opportunity. The difference is simple. One lets emotion control them, the other converts emotion into purpose, and purpose moves mountains. Let me share a secret most people do not realize. Crying is not weakness, wasting tears is. You can feel deeply, you can grieve, you can even scream. But then you must channel it. When I was refused by banks, when my ideas were mocked, I allowed myself the sadness. And then I drew the target. How much money we needed, how many users we wanted, what technology we had to build. Each tear became a measurement of what I was willing to fight for. Every setback became a stepping stone. Every insult became a reminder of why I could not give up. That is how ordinary pain becomes extraordinary fuel. The people who succeed are not emotionless. They are human, just like everyone else. The difference is, they never let their tears dilute their ambition. They do not linger in sorrow. They use sorrow to sharpen vision, to define goals, to create the discipline necessary to reach them. So next time life hits you, next time someone doubts you, next time doors close, do not run from your feelings. Do not let them drown you. Stand firm, focus, and ask yourself, how can I turn this feeling into a target I can hit? If you can do that, you are unstoppable. One of the biggest mistakes I see people make is waiting for the perfect moment to act. They think they need to feel strong, to feel confident, to feel prepared, and they wait. I've done this myself many times. When I first started Alibaba, I had no experience, no money, no support, and no certainty that it would work. I could have waited. I could have prepared forever. But waiting would have meant never starting. And the truth is, confidence is not something you find before you act. It is something you earn by acting. Action builds courage, not the other way around. I remember my first attempts to pitch investors. My hands shook. My voice wavered. I stumbled over simple sentences. I felt unprepared, scared, and very aware that I might fail. But I got up anyway. I spoke, I presented, I argued, I negotiated, and each time I acted, my confidence grew. Not because the world validated me, but because I proved to myself that I could face fear and still move forward. This is what most people miss. You don't wait until fear disappears. You act through it. The first step is always uncomfortable, and that discomfort is what separates dreamers from doers. Standing up before you feel ready is also about building momentum. Momentum does not wait for perfect timing. If you wait for certainty, the world will pass you by. Opportunities favor those who take initiative, even in uncertainty. I saw it repeatedly in my life. When I hesitated, deals were lost, doors closed, and competitors surged ahead. But when I acted, even shakily, even imperfectly, things began to move. The first step ignites the second, and soon you are moving faster than fear can catch you. Courage grows on the heels of action, not in a vacuum of preparation. The lesson is brutal but simple. If you wait to feel ready, you will never start. Success does not reward preparation alone, it rewards execution. Comfort never built a leader. Standing still never built an empire. You must be willing to be shaky, scared, uncertain, and vulnerable, because movement itself creates strength. I have faced countless firsts in my life. First pitch, first hire, first office, first failure. And every single time, I learned that the act of standing up creates readiness. Confidence comes from doing, not thinking, not planning, not hoping. Action produces power. So I tell you this, stand up now. Stand up while the ground beneath you feels unsteady. Stand up while your heart is racing and your mind doubts. The world does not wait for the fully prepared, the fully confident, the fully certain. It rewards those who refuse to pause. Every leader, every innovator, every successful person has done this. If you wait to feel ready, you wait forever. The first step is never perfect, but it is always necessary. Stand up, move forward, Build the confidence you need with the actions you take today. If there is one thing I learned after all my failures, all my rejections, all my struggles, it is this. Nobody respects a person who constantly feels sorry for themselves. Not investors, not employees, not even yourself. Self-pity erodes identity. It eats away at confidence. It convinces you that the world owes you something, when the truth is the world owes nothing. I have seen brilliant people fail not because they lacked skill or vision, but because they spent too much time wrapped in self-pity, justifying why things were unfair instead of taking action. The moment you stop feeling sorry for yourself is the moment you start becoming someone worthy of respect and worthy of results. When I look back at my own journey, I see the countless moments when self-pity could have derailed me. I could have spent years worrying that investors didn't believe in me, that competitors were stronger, that circumstances were against me. But instead, I made a choice. I would not allow excuses to dictate my life. I would take responsibility even when it was uncomfortable. Self-responsibility builds identity. Self-pity destroys it. Every decision I made, every risk I took, every failure I survived, reinforced who I was becoming. And the world notices that. Respect is earned when you refuse to bend to weakness, not when you complain about it. Self-respect is more than a feeling. It is a practice. It is the discipline to say, I don't need excuses, I need results. I remember times when everything looked impossible. Banks said no, employees were frustrated, competitors mocked me. It would have been easy to fall into despair, to tell myself that life was cruel, to wait for someone to make it better. But I didn't. I stood tall, made tough decisions, and faced reality head-on. That decision to act, rather than sulk, changed everything. It's not dramatic. It's not glamorous. It's simply the choice to respect yourself enough to refuse weakness. Most people underestimate how powerful this is. Self-pity is like a trap. It whispers you are too small, too tired, too unlucky. But self-respect whispers back, you are capable. You are responsible. You are enough. Every time you choose action over sympathy, you build your character. Every time you rise after a setback, you prove to yourself and to the world that you cannot be diminished. Luck favors those who refuse to be small. Opportunity follows those who act with integrity and courage. Life becomes lighter when you stop waiting for others to feel sorry for you and start taking control of your own story. So I tell you this with all the lessons I have learned. Stop feeling sorry for yourself. Stop handing your power to circumstance. Stand tall. Take responsibility. Let your results speak for your character. The world bows to people who refuse to bend under weakness. Every failure, every challenge, every rejection is a chance to build respect, not pity. Self-respect over self-pity. That is the final lesson, and it is the most important. Master it, and nothing in life can keep you down.